Greetings, beloveds. There's a difference between being skeptical and being cynical. This one loves the movie, an old movie with the Marx Brothers, in which Groucho Marx sings this funny song called, "Whatever it is, I'm against it." And it's a very funny lyrics about he doesn't really care what anybody says, he's against it. That's his position. And I'm not advocating that at all. That's a kind of cynicism. But I want you to be open to being skeptical. And by that, I mean that your orientation is to challenge any belief that is not loving, especially about yourself. Any thought that you ever have that you are less than perfect, less than what God is. I want you to develop a skepticism about that. Not a violent pushback. Excuse me for a second. Not a violent pushback. Not a hostility, because you don't want to engage with certain thoughts. But just skepticism, like, is that really so? Is that really true? And a skepticism about anybody else that you hear yourself thinking is less than God, less than perfect, less than pure love, less than doing the best they can. Be skeptical of that too. There's an image of a person sitting by the bank of the river. And the river is moving by very swiftly. Every time you look at it, it's a little different. And the waves are coming up and going back and swerving around. And sometime an interesting wave will come by and the person will appear to jump on that wave and take it down the river. And at that moment, they become merged with that river and they are at the effect of wherever it leads them. And while it's fun at first, it often leads them to a dangerous place, a place where they get hurt. At some point, they get out of the river. And interestingly, they find themselves right back where they started. It's almost like there was no distance traveled, even though it seemed like there was. And they're right back where they were. And there are these waves going by and this rapidly moving river. And the metaphor is about your thoughts. You are not the origin of your thoughts. You are not thinking them. And when you jump into that river, they are thinking you and taking you where they want to go. And instead of allowing that to happen, where you identify with your thoughts and you believe your thoughts and you take them for a ride, ultimately you end up way down the river in a place that you really wish you weren't. And you're welcome to take this ride as much as you want, because when you finally come out of the river, you'll be right back where you started, at a place of peace, at a place of observation. But if you have a healthy skepticism, and start to see that this flow is just interesting, but not particularly significant. And none of these thoughts that are flowing by have anything to do with who you really are, unless you decide to ride them. And the way not to ride them is to see if they are loving and kind and nurturing. Because you'll find that if you're skeptical of anything that's less than loving, you won't want to go for a ride. And the passing waves and the passing water will be interesting, but not particularly significant. And the only significance is your true nature and the love that you are and the love that you see in other people and the love that you express to yourself and to others. And that is a completely different journey than riding your thoughts. You need not ride the wave of your thoughts. They'll always be there. But allow yourself to be skeptical of anything that's less than loving in anything you think and anything you see. Let yourself become comfortable with your true nature, which is love, which is curiosity, which is creation. There's a very, very different journey when you don't follow your thoughts and you don't believe your thoughts. And it's an infinite one of joy and fascination. So let yourself be skeptical of anything that's less than who you really are. And when you hear other people running somebody else down, be skeptical of that too. Be in touch with the goodness beyond the illusion in every person, and especially in yourself. I love you, and I'll speak with you again soon.